So this question is a deduction type question, which means that we're going to use the text to see if the conclusion below logically follows. So let's read the text. But before we do, we should note that each of these sentences is in the form of an if-then statement. So if-then statements are set up in such a way that if the first part, the if part, is true, then what follows, the then part of the statement, must be true. So for example, in this first sentence, if resources are used to limit future global warming, then spending on current welfare is reduced. So again, if this happens, if resources are used to limit future global warming, then what must be true is spending on current welfare is reduced. So we can break this up according to these if and then halves. So I will draw a line to separate each of these between the if and the then. So for the first part, again, if resources are used to limit future global warming, we can call this A, then spending on current welfare is reduced. And the reason that I'm labeling them A and B is because we can understand this visually through this figure at the bottom right. So we can call this inner circle, this inner portion A, and if this is true, then B must be true. So let's continue reading. The next if-then statement says, if we reduce spending on current welfare, then people's well-being will be lower. So what do we notice? Well, in this second sentence, the if statement, if we reduce spending on current welfare, is the same as B in the previous sentence. Spending on current welfare is reduced. So this first part is, again, B, if we reduce spending on current welfare, and then the new portion of the statement, the then statement in this case, then people's well-being will be lower. And we can call this C. So again, if B is true, then C must also be true, and we can add C to the diagram here. So based on all of this, what should follow is if A, then B, if B, then C. But the conclusion is actually a bit different. The conclusion reads, the risk of global warming will be reduced. So does this conclusion logically follow? Let's read the end of the text. So, if we use current resources to limit future global warming, the risk of global warming will be reduced. Well, this isn't if A, then C. That would be if resources are used to limit future global warming, which is what we see here. Again, this is A. Then we should expect C. Then people's well-being will be lower. But the conclusion is different. The conclusion does not follow, and therefore the correct answer is the conclusion does not follow.